Now in this lecture, we are going to solve some numericals, as well as we are going to cover some concepts behind the resolution of forces. Now, while solving the numericals of the resolution of forces, normally we use the law of parallelogram, right? We all know, we have learned what is the law of parallelogram. That suppose if two forces are there represented by the P and Q, then their resultant we calculate by R is equal to under root P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos of theta. So this is already we have studied. Okay, that R square is equal to P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos of theta. This thing we have already studied, but there is also one more method to solve the numericals, and that method is to use the sine rule as well as the law of triangle. Okay, so we have also studied the law of triangle, and what does the law of triangle says? That whenever you are having the one force going in one direction, in the same direction if you have the second force, okay, now these two forces are there, right? Then third force can also be in same direction, right? And it will form a triangle, right? But if you consider the first force as P, second force as Q, then the third force, that is this force, can be its resultant if it is taken in opposite order. Means if two forces are in clockwise and if third force is in anti-clockwise, then this force can be termed as a resultant, and this is nothing but the law of triangle. Okay, so this force is two forces are in anti-clockwise direction, right? But the third force, that is R is in clockwise direction, so opposite to the direction of P and Q. So this is nothing but the law of triangle, that is the triangle law. Okay, and what is this law? This law is nothing but law of parallelogram. This is nothing but law of parallelogram. Okay, so now there is also one more law, and that law is nothing but the law of polygon. Okay, so what is the law of polygon? That also we will see, that if n number of forces are there, this is one force, this is second force, this is third force, this is fourth force, okay, and this one is the fifth force, right? So now there are number of forces we have, and we want to find the resultant of these all forces. Then the last force, which is taken in opposite direction, can be the resultant, and this is nothing but your law of polygon. Okay, this is nothing but law of polygon. So one more time we will see this law of polygon. Now these forces in blue color are represented in anti-clockwise direction. In anti-clockwise direction. Okay, these are in anti-clockwise direction. Now only this R force is in clockwise direction. Is in clockwise direction. Only this R force. And that R force is the resultant of the all forces. Means, suppose that this force is A force, this force is B force, this one is the C force, this one is the D force, this one is the E force. Okay, so now R is the resultant of A, B, C, D and E combined together. Now A, B, C, D, E are the 5 forces in anti-clockwise direction, whereas R force is in clockwise direction. You can see it here, R force is in clockwise direction. Okay, so it represents the law of polygon. Okay, now there is also one background for this law of parallelogram, and that is this all forces, that is A, B, C, D, E are concurrent in nature. This is A, this is B, this is C, the next force is D, and the last one is E. Okay, now what is the common thing that you found in these both diagrams is that all these forces are parallel to each other. You can notice this thing. You can notice this thing, that all these forces are parallel to each other. You can see here that this A force is parallel to this A. This B force here is parallel to this B. This C force is parallel to here C. And this D force is also parallel to here D force. This E force here is parallel to this E force. Okay. And this R is nothing but the resultant of this ABCDE taken together and ABCDE here plotted together. These all ABCDE forces in first diagram are the coplanar concurrent forces. Coplanar means in the same plane, and concurrent means either emerging from the same direction or meeting at the same direction. So all these forces are coplanar concurrent forces in the first diagram. And in the second diagram, all these forces are plotted here graphically. All these forces are parallel to each other in the second diagram. Okay, and these parallel forces plotted here graphically on a paper with the same magnitude. Okay, same magnitude means suppose that A force is of 5 meter on paper. Here it is plotted as 5 centimeter on paper, means up to the scale. Now 5 meter means 1 meter is equal to, suppose that 1 kilonewton. So suppose that force A is having the magnitude of 1 kilonewton. Okay, then it is plotted as to some dimensions, some, what you can say, some scale on the paper. Okay, suppose that force B having a magnitude of 7 kilonewton, force B, then here force B is plotted as 7 centimeter on the paper. Okay, suppose that force C is having magnitude of 10 kilonewton. Here force C is plotted as 10 centimeter on paper. Okay, so on paper we are plotting these forces up to its dimension by taking some scale graphically. And after plotting this all forces parallelly here, at the end, the starting point A and ending point E does not meet each other, and that gap is joined by the R force, which is taken in opposite direction. and that R force is nothing but the resultant of this all forces, and this is nothing but the law of Polygon. This is nothing but the law of Polygon. So in simple language, we have explained this, what is the law of Polygon. Okay, so these two diagrams are interrelated with each other. These two diagrams are interrelated with each other. Okay, you can see here these two diagrams. Okay, so we have converted this coplanar concurrent forces into the your polygon. We have drawn it on paper up to the scale, and after that we get this result. That is, we are able to find out the resultant of these forces on the paper. And now how we calculate the magnitude and direction of this resultant? We are also able to find out the magnitude and direction of this resultant. We will plot one horizontal line here for this point, for this force R. And what we will do, we will find out this angle with the x-axis. Okay, an angle made by resultant with the x-axis is nothing but your angle alpha. That is nothing but your angle alpha. Okay, so that angle alpha can be directly calculated graphically. Here you can measure it on paper and you can get this angle alpha that we use here in this formula, that is the tan alpha. That is also the angle made by resultant with x-axis. That angle is also alpha, same angle. That angle alpha R, angle made by R with the horizontal x-axis. This is also the x-axis. This is also the x-axis, and force P is parallel to x-axis here. Okay, so you can find out the angle made by resultant with the horizontal x-axis here also. Here also you are able to find out the your alpha. Okay, so I hope that you get this point, how we get the alpha here also. That is the angle made by resultant with horizontal x-axis. Okay, so this resultant here is lying in the second quadrant. You note down this thing, that it is lying in second quadrant. Okay, resultant here is in second quadrant, you can see it. Okay, so you got the quadrant of resultant as well as you got the angle made by resultant, so its direction also, both the things you got here. Okay, so this is a graphical method of finding out the resultant. This is what you can call it as a graphical method of finding out the resultant. Graphical method of finding result. Okay, this is nothing but graphical method. So we on paper we can use this method. It is not the accurate method, but it is an approximate method to finding out the resultant. And here also in law of triangle also we are able to find the resultant. Okay, law of polygon is been derived from the law of triangle. Okay, so this is nothing but your law of triangle. We have derived this from law of triangle. This is your law of triangle. Okay, and this one is your law of parallelogram. Law of parallelogram. Okay, so all the things is been covered here. Okay, law of parallelogram is covered here. You can use this formula here. The same formula is been used by the law of parallelogram. Okay, one more formula is there for is your what we can say, tan of your for tan of alpha. You are having one formula, that is q sine theta divided by V plus Q cos of theta. So this is the formula for finding out the, what you can say, angle made by resultant with the horizontal x-axis in the law of parallelogram. So this formula basically we use in the law of parallelogram. Okay, so this is nothing but to find out the tan of alpha. Tan of alpha. Already we have seen this formula, but we are taking it again and again so that you will be able to remember it completely. Okay, so remembering this all formulas is very much important, because in the exam you have to solve the numericals based on these formulas. Okay, so therefore this is very important for you to solve the numericals based on these various formulas. Okay, so I hope that you are able to remember these things. Okay, so now is it clear to you that what is law of parallelogram, what is law of triangle, what is law of polygon, right? Law of polygon is also important, right? So therefore these all laws are interdependent on each other, means derived from each other. Okay, so if your concept is clear, then you are able to solve the numericals. This is the concept that what you are learning currently. This is the basics of engineering mechanics. Okay, and learning the basics of engineering mechanics is very much important, because without learning the basics you are not able to solve the numericals. Okay, so first of all, every time you try to clear your concepts, try to learn the basic things. That is very much important. Okay, now as far as the numericals is considered, now there are also certain concepts to solve the numerical. Okay, so one concept is the sine rule. One concept is to solve the numerical is sine rule. Okay, so what is this sine rule? Sine rule normally we use in solving the numericals of equilibrium. Suppose that your three concurrent forces are there. Okay, suppose that these three concurrent forces are there having certain magnitude. Suppose that this is having the magnitude of 10 Newton. Second force is having the magnitude of 20 Newton. Third force is having the magnitude of 30 Newton. Okay, three forces are there and certain angles are there in between them. Okay, so suppose that this angle is 80 degree. Okay, suppose that this angle is 140 degree. Okay, and the third angle that will be your 360 minus 80 plus 140. Okay, so you can automatically calculate this angle. And that angle will also be 140 degree. Okay, that angle will also be 140 degree, right? Now 140 plus 140, that is 280, and 280 plus 80 will be the 360 degree. So a complete, what you can say, a complete 360 degree angle that you will get it here. Okay, so this is a complete circle that is for the 360 degree. Okay, now after that, what is the sine rule? How you can use it here? That let's take the first force, 10 Newton. Okay, now this 10 Newton divided by the opposite angle, sine of the opposite angle, means sine of 140 degree, which is the opposite angle to this 10 Newton. Okay, you can see it here. Opposite to the 10, you are having the 140 degrees. Okay, so sine 10 Newton divided by sine of 140. Second force 20 Newton divided by again sine of 140. 20 Newton divided by sine of so at final we got the expression for the sine rule here. Okay, so we can understand it easily that this 10 Newton divided by the sine of opposite angle, that is sine of 140, then 20 Newton divided by the sine of 140, which is again opposite to the 20 Newton. Third force is the 30 Newton. 30 Newton divided by the sine of 80 degree. So this is nothing but the sine rule. Okay, this is nothing but the sine rule that you can easily use. And the same rule you can also use into the triangle also. Okay, so if you try to draw the triangle here, then in triangle also the same rule can be used. Suppose that if you draw the first force, that is 10 Newton, if you draw the second force, that is 30 Newton, and if you draw the third force, that is 20 Newton. Now the triangle is been formed. Now each side is parallel to this side. This 10 Newton is parallel to this 30 Newton is parallel to this, and this 20 Newton is parallel to this one. Okay, now we'll write the values. first value is 10 Newton, second value means third value is 30 Newton, and second value is 20 Newton. Okay, now we have to write the angles also. Okay, so whatever the angles are there, that we need to write. Okay, now in this triangle the angles are different here. Okay, we have just taken an example here to understand. Now suppose that this angle is 50 degree. This angle is 60 degree. And third angle is 70 degree. 50, 60 and 70. Okay, now what happens here, that the addition of the three angles here is 180 degree in the case of triangle, and here the addition is 360 degree in case of the whole complete circle. Okay, so this is the difference between these two cases. Okay, now here how will be the expression here? That you need to consider one side and the angle opposite to it. Okay, now suppose that 10 Newton is the side and opposite to that is the 60 degree angle is there. For 20 Newton, the opposite angle is 50 degree. Okay, and for 30 Newton, the opposite angle is 70 degree. Okay, so in simple language, you can have 10 Newton opposite to that sine of 60 degree. Then next one is 20 Newton opposite to that you are having sine of 50 degree. Then next one is 30 Newton and opposite to that you are having sine of 70 degree. Okay, now this one is the second type of expression. We use it for the triangle also. Okay, so in this way we are able to use this sine rule. Both expressions can be derived trigonometrically, but in exam no one is going to ask you the expression, means derivation, but these expressions can be used to solve the numerical. Okay, sometimes this sine rule is also used to get the numerical solved quickly. If in exam you are having the multiple choice questions, then to solve the multiple choice question, this sine rule can be very much useful to you. Okay, now I will give you one numerical for the homework. Okay, so numerical for homework. So this is our numerical number 3 for the homework. Okay, so you have to find the resultant of the three forces resultant of the three forces we have to find. First one is 10 Newton, second one is 20 Newton, and third one is 30 Newton. And the angle made by them are 10 degree, 20 degree, and 30 degree. Okay, angle made by them are with the horizontal x-axis. They are making an angle of 10 degree, 20 degree, and 30 degree. Okay. (10 degree, 20 degree, and 30 degree. These are the angles made with respect to the horizontal x-axis. With respect to the horizontal x-axis. Okay. So this is the homework that you need to complete, and you have to solve it on your notebook. Okay, so this is the third numerical given for the homework. Okay, so I hope that today's lecture you have understood well. How to find the resultant now? Here you need to just split these forces. Split this force 10 Newton into the two components. Okay, split this force into two components. Split this force into two components. Okay, split every force into the two components. One is parallel to x-axis, one is perpendicular to x-axis. Okay, so this is the method to solve numerical, and then use the summation of fx and summation of fy. Okay, and then use r is equal to under root of fx square plus fy square, or r is equal to fx square plus fy square. R square is equal to fx square plus fy square. Use this formula to solve this numerical. So this is now one hint is also been given by me. Okay.